fifth of our 7 methods is what we call a user journey. A user journey, the goal is we take the perspective of one single user from they don't know us through to happily engaged customer who's using us. Thanks, Cass. And we want to map that process end to end, and we want to think about the key moments of truth that happen there. So we want to see the life cycle, and I think these moments of truth are really important. Oftentimes, as engineers, when we map this process out, and I'll show you some examples in a moment, we think that each step in the process has equal weighting. There are a whole bunch of steps in a lot of processes that customers kind of float through, and then there's one or two where if it's not good, the whole thing dies. And so we want to identify where those key moments of truth are. And we often do this on a whiteboard, but I'll give you some, we'll then put it into software, and I'll just name some software packages that we use. So often this is done in flowchart or illustration software. On the Mac, I happen to like OmniGraffle and Sketch for this, works really well. If you're a Windows user, Visio is excellent. It's a great package for this. It can be expensive, but if you just literally go and type in free flowcharting software Windows, there's heaps of it. So you want flowcharting software to do this stuff. So remember the tasks that we had for Aaron before. So I'm going to use these tasks as an example in our curry ordering system. Aaron wants to be able to eat curry. He wants to place an order, change an order, pay off an IOU. So let's start to look at what a user journey for Aaron might look like. So these are the steps that Aaron might take. He gets a reminder, he places an order, he can change his order, he makes a payment, he eats, and he pays off his IOUs. And what we then do is, so this is a high level thing, and we actually start to flesh these out and write in very specific detail exactly what they do. And it's the detail that often gives you some of the insights. So, Aaron receives an email alert at 10 a.m. on Friday to buy curry by 11 a.m. That is exactly what happens. And in fact, we fill this out. I won't go through and read them, but we fill it out for all of them. So we actually say for each box what actually happens. And interestingly, as I look through this, we had some observations about this process. People don't like cold curry. We need a box in here that comes in there, and I think Cass now has started to do this, called remind everyone the curry has turned up. Because a lot of these guys have got headphones on, and the curry guy walks through and they don't even know he's there, and then they turn up 30 minutes later and the curry's cold again. And so even doing this, we identified a weakness in our own process. Now, user journeys, this is a simple, straightforward way to do them, but there are lots of ways that these things can be done in a whole raft of ways. Let me give you some examples. You're not going to read these are just to give you a gist of some of the stuff that people do. So here's a user journey from start to end, and it's really focusing on what people's emotional state is like and the key things they're worried about and how it's going to happen and where it's going to happen from start to finish through a process. And so thinking about people's emotional states is one way you can do it. Let me give you another example. This one here is actually, Lego did it, but it's actually about the process of booking. I think it's a flight, I think it's flying in Heathrow. Don't know why Lego decided to do that, but that's okay. And it's before, during and after, and it's just each of the steps. I board a plane, I have safety procedures, I take off. How do I feel through each of those steps? And essentially just rolling through the entire process and just getting a concept for what a user would do to go through that. This is the Alliance software user journey for customs, for you. So we think about, okay, they're going to research us, and the content creation process today is going to help us be found more in the research process. They research us, they evaluate, they decide to purchase, they implement, they want support and review. And what are they looking for? We have sat down and thought about what our ideal customer, what the journey we expect that they will go through. 2 more, and then we've given you a pretty good batch of processes.